Yeah, this is a great question too. The only threat that the technocracy movement has in the world that can possibly derail their plans is the so-called populist movement. There is no party called the Populist Party, to my knowledge. There might be in some other countries, certainly it's not here. But that phrase, that word has become representative of a group of people who really are kind of more independent-minded. They're not necessarily Republicans or Democrats. They're not, maybe independent, but they're just kind of free thinkers. They say, hey, we're people out here. Could you take care of us for a change? Could you do something for us and quit pandering to everybody else in the world that we hate, our enemies and stuff? And the populist movement grew around the world. I know Australia had for a time, a very robust populist group of people who were spouting off. Certainly France did, Germany did, Great Britain did, and some other countries in Europe had pretty large populist parties. You'll see in Europe, though, for instance, in the case of Brexit, which was originally a populist movement, that's where it started. It was completely taken over by technocrats, first by Theresa May as prime minister, and now by Boris Johnson, who are class A1 technocrats who have run the thing into the ground, and they have crushed the populist movement in their country. They're gone. I mean, it's like, what happened to the Nigel Farages of the world? They're just gone. He's over here in the United States stumping for President Trump. But in America, you still have a large contingent of populism as a philosophy and as a people group. They're not controllable by the Democrats. They're not controllable by the Republicans. So neither party got their hooks in this group. They can't tell it what to do, rank and file. These people are the only threat that technocracy has, and they must crush it if they're going to survive. Everybody else goes along with the program. The populists are the only ones that are saying, wait a minute, you guys are ripping us off. This is a con job. What you're doing we disagree with you. We don't want what you want. They can't handle that kind of criticism anyway, but they're trying to crush it. Trump said, I'm getting to the point here. Trump said 2 years ago, very succinct. He said, they're not after me, they're after you. And that explains it to me completely. It wasn't about Trump. Trump is merely the lightning rod that the populist movement chose. They could have chosen somebody else. I'm sure there was other people that could have filled that bill. They chose Trump. Trump became the lightning rod to where the technocrats felt if they could crush Trump, they would crush the populist movement and dispirit the populist movement in America. And so that's exactly what Trump said. I don't know how many people picked up on that, but I did immediately. I said, it's absolutely correct. It's not about Trump. It's about the populist movement in America. And I don't say that to denigrate Trump. I like a lot of stuff he did. Some stuff I don't. He did a lot of stuff that aided and abetted technocracy, like 5G rollout and like the vaccine rollout, using the military to spread it all over the country. There were things that I just didn't agree with, but that wasn't my point. The point is, he said, they're not after me, they're after you. And that was absolutely true. They want to crush the populist movement. When Trump got deplatformed from Twitter after January 6th, there were 75,000 other no-name people that got purged at the same time. That's a massive purge. That's the kind of stuff you hear about, they did in Cambodia, 40 years ago, or in Mozambique, or, like what? All these people just disappeared from the Ethernet because they were attached to Trump's populism movement, and they canceled them.